The Celtic Unrestricted View is sponsored by AB Entertainment. It's a DJ and entertainment business. And we are also partnered by MCM Framing Services and Hoops Memorabilia. Both our sponsor and our partner are on social media and can be found on Facebook or Instagram. So feel free, guys, to check them out as they offer fantastic services, and enjoy the upcoming episode. Hail, hail.
Yes, and we're back. Good morning. It's Coffee Club. Will Celtic squad be tested? My name is Ryan Clifford, and joining me this early morning podcast is my good man, Mr. Alan Stirling. Or should I say Stephen Henshaw? What's attire today, big man?
Good morning. In case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. It'll be the 2007 Bumblebee turf, I'm sure. Am I right? No, 2000. It's too early in the morning for that carry on.
Was it Tony Mowbray, wasn't it?
So that would be 2007, wasn't it?
Robbie Keane.
Robbie Keane, aye. So, sporting this nice talk today. Good morning to everyone. Coffee club. I don't even like coffee, but I'm here with my Diet Iron Brew, looking out the window to probably the dullest looking Glasgow we've seen. So hopefully our two kind of bright faces will bring a few smiles to people.
It's quite dull, mate, isn't it? I think winter's starting to appear now in Glasgow, Ireland. It's quite chilly as well. So, obviously last night was a good chat, obviously, about the international guys. Aberdeen came up as well, but obviously, I think in terms of the squad depth, I think now it will be. I would say be a bit tested in terms of maybe the bench and maybe some of the fringe players, because I think they've got 4 games in roughly 10 to 11 days coming up. Aberdeen, I think Motherwell, Aberdeen in the semi as well. After that, Leipzig, Atlanta. So that's maybe 5 or so games in maybe 14 to 15 days. So it's going to be quite a tough period for us in terms of the squad and guys maybe keeping fit, hopefully, and not getting injuries and being fresh. So do you think there'll be maybe rotation, or do you think they'll try and keep it as kind of the same squad or the same kind of lineup as these guys, because they want to keep that momentum as well?
You would like to think there would be rotation, but in certain areas it might be hard for us to rotate. There's a few kind of defining factors in that, whether Carter Vickers will be fit, because there's certain areas that we're not as strong kind of squad wise. If Carter Vickers isn't fit, then you're looking at probably trusting Scales. Does he trust entirely Stephen Welsh and Mike Narowski? Not so sure. So that part of the field, would you be entirely comfortable with us kind of making, with these important games, for us making kind of squad rotation in that part of the field? Don't know. Then you're looking at kind of Anthony Johnston, and Anthony Ralston. So has he really stepped up to the mark in comparison to the way that Alistair Johnston is? Is he a guy that can step up and still maintain that kind of that quality and that level of play that we've got at that right hand side. So I think when you look forward in the park with the midfield or maybe wingers, etc., there is a bit of play for us to rotate. But defensively at the minute, I'm not so sure. Maybe left back with Valley and Taylor. That might be a position that might be rotated a few times over the next number of games. But elsewhere, I don't know if I'd be so comfortable if the squad players were to come in and kind of start big games against the likes of kind of Atalanta or kind of semi-finals in the cup as well. I don't know. I don't know if I'd be entirely comfortable with these guys starting.
But Patrick put a comment in there, put that to yourself. He still thinks that the midfield's a bit light, particularly if you pick up injuries in there. What's your thoughts on that?
I think it's probably the strongest part of our squad we've got at present, Patrick. You look at the kind of number of substitutes we're making in that area kind of every game. You're seeing, even if we're starting out with Engels, McGregor and Tati, you're seeing Paulo Bernardo come on, you're seeing Luke McCowan come on. That's not even taking into account kind of you guys like Thiago Holm. Who else am I missing? That's it, isn't it? I might be a bit lighter actually.
Hatate, Bernardo, McGregor, Engels, Holm, McCowan.
Aye, that's it, isn't it?
That's
So
it,
I
I think
mean,
so, aye.
Patrick might be a bit right if we were to get an injury or two. Then it could be problematic. But when you look at that as well, we've got three positions in the midfield, so that's two players for every position. That's really kind of youth players as well. So that's usually the norm. Any more than two players for every position, it's usually a bit kind of overkill when your squad's too bloated. So hopefully Patrick's no jinx this year. We don't get kind of injuries to the likes of McGregor and Engels the next few weeks, or we'll be coming back and blaming you, Patrick.
I just set some of the comments on obviously a bit early in the morning this morning, but good to see Anne Jemmy's joined us. She's actually he or she is actually first. Normally it's between Ange and Plunge. So Angie's got in this morning. Thanks, Ange. Hope you enjoy your breakfast. Patrick
you.
obviously said morning all. Our good man JP. He's leaving it to two gaffers this morning. Big man's too tired, so says the gaffer's no far away, and aye, JP, that's
So two daddies today.
the two daddies today.
Two daddies.
No, yeah. Hope you're well, mate. Good morning. Oh, thanks, mate. That's came from me Maloney. He's felt that it is shipped the air. So that is getting cold now, mate. As me and Alan said there, mate, it's getting cold yourself. It's getting cold in the mornings, mate. So hoodies are vital, especially when it's -5 in Glasgow. So no, I think Alan, I think we can. I think most Celtic fans will agree. Well, maybe a wee bit light in terms of maybe no quality, but we're light in terms of numbers, in terms of to come in. Obviously, quality in a sense as well, but in terms of the starting 11, you've got maybe the quality there. But if we do get an injury or two, Patrick said McGregor, Hatate get injured, then yeah, she might be a wee bit light in that area. But I suppose that's when if it's McKibben who comes in and steps up as well. So I think we've seen in Scotland anyway that he's able to come in and do a job. European football, who knows? He's still really playing that a lot, really, in terms of he's how will he step up to that pressure in Europe. So obviously against him across the water, he stepped in. He stepped in really well in his debut and done really well. So I think in terms of domestic wise, Alan, I think we'll be okay. I think depends if we get further in Europe. That's the biggest question. But I do feel that I agree with Patrick in terms of if we do get an injury or two, then maybe in terms of quality wise, you'll be a bit light. But let's just hope we don't get an injury like Hatate longer term or Rio longer term, because I think you do want your best players in as much as possible, Alan.
Definitely. It's going to be a tough, long, grueling season as well. They've extended the amount of games in the new format of the Champions League, so there is going to be more games for the squad to kind of deal with. You're looking at as well with, in comparison to last year. we've already got an extra couple of games with the League Cup as well, hopefully, because of our early exit last year. So these are extra games, and it means that you've got a really busy schedule coming up. Hopefully the pre-season that the players have had, the amount of fitness work they've had, that I've got every confidence that these players can kind of stand up to that amount of games in short periods of time. But it will be challenging. It will be testing. You obviously need a wee bit of luck as well to kind of stay away from injuries and suspensions, etc. But I think we've got a relatively strong midfield. It might be other parts of the park that I'd be a slightly more apprehensive about losing players. As I said earlier, Patrick does make a good point. If a couple of injuries, that would be extremely unlucky, and we would need to deal with that. But for me, if you're looking at just one injury or squad rotation, I think there's other parts of our squad that's maybe positions that are lacking in depth. As I mentioned, maybe right back and centre half at present. I think we're lacking in a bit of quality and depth. So we're hoping that we stay kind of fit, and big news will be if Carter Vickers is back fit. I know he's had some kind of niggly injuries over his time at Celtic, so we're hoping he can kind of work through that and we can get to the root of the problem of that and see him kind of consistently playing for Celtic over a number of months, because it has been kind of stop-start with the amount of injuries he's had, and he's a massively influential player for Celtic. He's, in my eyes, I think you'll agree as well, he's best defender at Celtic, best defender in Scotland, I'd say. And he gives you that calmness and that assurance when he's bringing the ball forward, and that's my first phase of play. We were that's going into our attacking phase, so it's massively influential and very important that we get a fully fit Cameron Carter-Vickers.
I'll put that one to yourself as well. And Patrick asks, do you think we might need to buy another centre back in January if injuries persist with Carter Vickers?
I don't want to say that. I want to try and be positive with regards to Carter Vickers can regain kind of fitness, and maybe we get to the root of the problem, as I says. But it is becoming a recurring theme that Carter Vickers is picking up these niggling injuries. I don't know. I'm no expert in regards to kind of physio work or any kind of anatomy of the human body. But what I do know is that Celtic need a strong centre half that's consistently playing there, and we can't really have the kind of stop-start injuries with Cameron Carter-Vickers. So it is probably a place that we will look at in January if we don't have Carter-Vickers consistently fit. Even at that, I don't think Brendan will show much confidence and much faith in kind of Stephen Welsh and Mike Narowski. So even with kind of Carter-Vickers fit, as three centre halves that he's got full faith in, is that enough to go forward for a full season? I think that might be an area that Brendan still looks to bring someone in to improve the squad depth, shall we say.
I think for me, Alan, in terms of that question for Patrick or just in general, I think it will depend where we are in January in terms of European football. If we're close to the playoffs, if we're close to qualifying from the group stages, obviously from this new format, because as it stands at the moment, I know we've got 3 points and we've got beat off Dortmund, but we're sitting okay in the table as it stands. We're not at the bottom, we've not lost our 2 games. So I think if you get ideally a positive result in Atlanta, and then you go and win the next home game, then things look a wee bit brighter. So I think personally the transfer window will already be started. I think the manager will already be talking about. I know there's been a lot of links to the guy. I think it's Paul Tisdale for down south. It's going to be part of like part of the scouting and part of the kind of backroom staff and stuff like that to help the manager pick talent and obviously help with players and stuff. So apparently he's very highly regarded. I know him from down south. I assume it's Exeter he was with for a while as well, teams like that down south. I'm sure he was helping out other teams as well. So apparently he was helping out again. It's only through what we've seen on Twitter and media outlets that apparently he's been helping Celtic already. Who knows? We don't know behind the scenes, and maybe he's already been in a job and not been announced, because the club tend to do that with certain players. But apparently Liam Shaw is already away, McCarthy's away, we've not been told. So who knows if this guy's been announced already and nothing's been obviously put out. So I think for me, Alan, I think it will depend. Obviously, the manager already started kind of looking at January already, but I think what could be a wee bit interesting would be how we are in terms of European football. Are we close to maybe the playoffs? Are we maybe going to be already qualified? Who knows? Or are we just going to be kind of neighbour near it? I think that will depend on maybe who we sign as well, Aaron, in January.
I think January will still be quite a busy month for us. I think there will be some outgoings as well. There's obviously players that Brendan's, as I've said, not entirely confident with, shall we say. But we're looking at it as a prolonged season. I think we are sitting in a not bad position, but these next two games are going to be very difficult, shall we say. I think our point to make we're impact in the Champions League group will be match day 5, 6 and 7. You're looking at these games as kind of winnable games. It's young boys, Zagreb, and who's the other one?
Leipzig.
No, Leipzig's match 4. One of the other teams.
Bruges.
Bruges, that's the one. So these are games that we would look at. You would think Celtic have got a very good chance of picking up 3 points for each of these games. Maybe the Zagreb away game, that's any away game in Europe's going to be very tough. But our next 2 games, away to Atalanta and even at home to Leipzig, I know that being at home is very important, but make no doubt about it, these are going to be very, very tough tasks. These are kind of top European sides, and they are going to cause us a lot of problems. We need to kind of use our squad depth to get through that. I think if Brendan had his way, we maybe would have had another couple of players in the summer. I think this guy Paul Tinsdale, I think he was actually behind the scenes in the summer for what I've read. He was maybe no in place, but I think he was making a few moves in regards to Celtic. So yeah, it's good to have somebody in that Brendan's confident of that can help him.
Do you think he might have been involved in the Trusty deal? Because obviously he knows, doesn't he?
Could well be, yeah. I've read a few things on Twitter the last week or so, and obviously Twitter's no the gospel, the Bible. It's not the truth of everything, but there is a few comments that people have overheard them speak about kind of Celtic transfer strategy, etc. during the summer period. So it could have been a possibility that he was involved in that transfer business during the summer. To what extent, we probably will never know. But what's for sure is that there is a few kind of areas of our squad that is lacking, in my opinion. For us to be getting into a Champions League game, if we have to play Stephen Welsh and Tony Ralston, I think we'll all be hiding behind every couch, and we'll all be jumping into DFS and hiding behind the couches, because that is just a nightmare scenario that you do not want. With all due respect to the likes of kind of Tony Ralston and Stephen Welsh, that we've progressed a lot with regards to the quality of our squad. I appreciate how well that Tony Ralston and Stephen Welsh have done to come to this point as professional footballers, but for me, if we're going into Europe with that kind of start lineup, there's certain issues with the squad depth.
I'm probably going to agree with you, Alan. I think it's not Alston's fault that he's obviously at the moment he's done well to go and play with Scotland as well. But any time I've seen him play with Scotland, he's been out his depth in terms of the bigger teams. And again, he's far better than me. He's done better than me in my career. But we're just fans, and we're watching on TV. And I know how hard it is on the park against these guys. It's a lot harder than it is watching it, and I totally get that. But You've seen it out against Croatia for a second goal. You've seen it in the Euros. You've seen it in other games with Celtic as well. If Alistair Johnston gets injured, we're not in a good place for that position in terms of European football, against the bigger teams especially. I think the summer, again, I'm not saying Ralston to leave, but I'm just saying in terms of if we want to progress and we want to be this European club that Mr. Lowell, Desmond, the manager, and some of us fans think we should be, then we need a better right back to come in and cover Alistair Johnson. I know what people are going to say, Alan, why would you spend money on a guy who might not play? Then that's what they to decide between the two of them.
It's
Who's the best?
competition as well. It
Yes.
pushes the war.
I think people think, that you can't spend money. Well, there we go. People say you can't spend money. We've spent money on Adam Meader, who will be second choice to Kyogo, in my opinion, right now. Adam Meader's not. I know the manager says that he's no go first picks, but he's not going to come out and say that he is his second choice or first. He's not going to come out and say that. But on ability wise, in terms of what's best for their team, Kyogo is the main striker. Is that no fair? Is that no fair to say? So
Definitely, 100%. Yeah.
I think in terms of, but it's good we've got that though. We've got the squad depth in terms of we've got Ida to come in. We've got two guys for that position, like you mentioned. We've got five in the middle, so we've got guys for that. You've got wingers. I know Palmer's not done great so far, but this season you've got Palmer, Yang, Forrest, Kuhn, Maeda. So you're kind of sorted depth wise for the wingers. Defence, like you mentioned there, I know Welsh and Rowski probably aren't they. Maybe in the North Sea, maybe I'm starting to maybe think about the reasons why he's not playing now a wee bit. He's got to be given a chance. I still agree in terms of every week he's still to go and maybe be given a chance to really prove himself. But in terms of what I've seen the last few games with him, maybe I'm going to retract for saying that he should be playing. Maybe he shouldn't be, and there's reasons why. But I can only comment on what I see at the present time. I can't comment on what I've not seen yet. We can only go by he's not given a chance. The same with Wagner Bielka. Didn't really play a lot, didn't really give him a chance in my opinion, but you can maybe think now there's maybe reasons why they weren't playing. But in terms of the squad depth, Greg Taylor, is he injured or was he took off at Dortmund because he wasn't good enough? I don't know. We've not been told about any injuries. I know he's been told about an injury, but is it an injury or is it rest? Is it because he wasn't? I don't know, because obviously he's not in the Scotland squad, so obviously, he's been took out of Scotland squad as well, so I'm guessing it could be injury. But in terms of, for me, I think Valley will play a lot more now as well. I think Valley will play a lot more. But I think for me the biggest bit is the right back, Alan, and the centre back. I think you're probably right. I think that's probably the back line, Alan, is probably the bit of the squad where we've got the least depth.
No, definitely. That's what I've been saying, but you go through them as well. And as we mentioned before, with people saying that why should we spend money on somebody that might not necessarily play? Well, look at last season, right? Our settled midfield probably would have been Hatate in it and Callum McGregor. So this year we brought in permanently Paulo Bernardo. We've spent that money, and now Paulo Bernardo is pushing that much that a lot of people are considering that he should be in the team before Rio Hatate. So that's where the fruits come out, the fruits of the labour come out, that if you bring in somebody that's backup when he comes in for a bit of money, they put in the effort, they put in the work, they put in the time, then they can come good and actually press the first team player for that position. And you're seeing that just now with the likes of kind of Bernardo. So although I kind of love Hatate, but I'm still seeing the reasons behind why people would say Paulo Bernardo should be starting before Rio Hatate at present. And the fact of the matter is, Paulo Bernardo was probably brought in as rotation and brought in as a young player, brought in as maybe a squad player until maybe next year, I thought. But he's playing that well that he's probably pushing Hatate on, and he's making his own claim for that position in the park. So that's the reason why we should always look at bringing in the most quality in regards to kind of depth as well, because we don't know what's going to happen in a few weeks, a few months' time. These guys can come on and actually overtake the quality that we've got in the first 11. And for Celtic, that's always a productive thing to happen.
comment for Big Rab there. He says we don't have squad depth as none of the backup guys are given a chance. I can take that comment, Rab. And Taylor is the best left back in Scotland. Both games he missed or subbed, the team has played piss poor. I'm going to probably detract for Taylor because I thought he was actually decent against Ross County Valley, and I thought he was decent when he came on against Dortmund. I thought he was better than Taylor against Dortmund. He was cutting out the diags. He was going technically good going forward. And I thought he was very good against Dortmund, Allen, and Ross County. I get what Rob's saying in terms of what we've seen so far. In terms of right now, Taylor probably is the best left back in Scotland right now as it stands. But for me, I believe Valle will end up becoming more in this team than maybe people thought. I did say at the season when he signed, I did think he would come in and be the left back. I did think he would come in and challenge Greg Taylor, and I don't think he would be on the bench much because end of the day, Alan, see as much as people might think this is no me being down on our players, right? See if you're in Barcelona's squad, now much as we're a big team and we've got quality players, see if you're in the I know he's not played a lot for Bar, I think he's played the odd friendly and here and there, but he was on the bench before. I know you can have like 12, it's like 20 players now on the bench, right? You can have a lot of players now on the bench. But he was on the bench the game before he left. Barcelona fans weren't happy that he was getting away on loan. They wanted to keep him on the squad and to come in. I think it was to be kind of second study to the guy Baldy, I'm sure. So for me personally, a guy who's sitting in that at that age, sitting in that squad, wee bit at the edge of the squad, should be coming into Celtic and really, no saying taking over, but should be really, really challenging at this level.
Definitely. If Barcelona scouts or coaches, etc., think that he's able to kind of play his football at that level and kind of be in the surroundings, say a massive club and a massive team like Barcelona, then you would think automatically that he would come into Celtic and kind of run amok. I'm not saying that immediately because he's still a young player, but he's obviously got potential if teams like Barcelona are looking to kind of extend his contract and keep a hold of him. So I was pretty excited with him coming in. I still think Greg Taylor's done fantastically well, and I think he's taken his game up another notch as well. I think he has improved again, and he's becoming kind of a mainstay in the team. What will happen in the next few games with regards to who plays between Taylor and Valle? Only Brendan will know that. That's one area that I'm probably not as worried about. I think both of the players, it's not going to be a massive difference depending on who plays for what I've seen so far. That may well change, but for what I've seen so far, they look as if the two of them could do a fairly decent job at that left back position. It's more other parts of the squad depth and the park and other positions that I feel it might be a wee bit apprehensive about, that if we do pick up an injury here or there, it might be like, oh Jesus, what's going to happen here? So these things happen in football. We can always kind of expect that we will have some knocks, some injuries, some suspensions, etc. Always happens in football, so we just need to expect Brendan to deal with it the best way possible. And I think domestically, obviously, we've got a really good squad. It's more we need our kind of best first 11 for European football. I think it's imperative that we make sure that we get the likes of kind of Cameron Carter-Vickers fit. We need to keep our important players like kind of Cal McGregor and Kyogo, Tyson Maida, Alistair Johnston. I think all these players, it's imperative that they're fit for the likes of the Atalanta game, Leipzig game, any Champions League game, because for us to be missing players that are that monumental, I think that could be detrimental towards our points tally.
There's been some comments in the chat with a few guys, Alan, they're talking about
I seen JP talking about his games.
And obviously, no, I'll put JP's comment up. Scales for me, folks, has helped now the play staff felt and deserves more credit what he's helped and helped to deliver. There's been a few comments, Alan, about obviously Lagerbielke and Nerowski one mention about Starfelt and Scales and stuff. For me, I think Starfelt was very, very good. He was quick. He had a good relationship with Carter Vickers. We didn't concede a lot of goals under they two together. We won a lot of games domestically with them together. I still think Starfelt's better defensively than the three of them. I think he was better on the ball as well than the three of them as well, what I've seen so far. I thought Starfelt was actually decent. We seen when he left last season, the year before, the kind of void he left, because we struggled to replace him. I get what JP's saying though. Scale just came in, he started to be a bit better. He has improved. I must admit, he has improved, but he has still got a lot of frailties in his game. That's especially under no pressure with the ball. Him and Trusty against Dortmund, and again it's against Dortmund. Don't want to be too critical, but the two of them were away chasing shadows away up to the halfway line, and then you're leaving big gaps. So that was that was a full defence. But just a wee debate there, no debate, just a wee conversation there. I think definitely as it stands at the moment, it trusts Scales and to play with Vickers. Scales is probably the one that's going to be sitting there as well. So, and I agree with Poach Shopper as well. He says Starfelt helped Taylor as well to cover his side. And I feel Maeda helps cover Taylor as well. So, but that's what a squad's about, Alan. That's what a team's about. You help each other out. Nobody's bad. Nobody's good, better than others. You just cover as a team, and I think that's what Celtic do as a team. They actually help each other as a team.
Yeah, definitely. You need to cover, you know, that in any kind of team game, any teamwork across life, you need to know that you need to be there for whatever teammate you've got. So it's imperative that these guys are kind of watching out for each other, making sure that they're helping out in any way. For me, Liam Scales has got a few mistakes in him. Would I put him at the level of Carol Starfelt at the minute? No, for me, I fully appreciate how much that William Scales has improved. It's the kind of he's the dream, what the American dream in Scotland, really. That he's come on. He's went for Aberdeen. He was coming out the Celtic side. There was talk that he was going to be moving to Aberdeen permanently or moving on permanently. And he manages to kind of get a chance in the Celtic first team. And for that point, he's not really looked back. He's had a wee bit of luck with regards to nobody else coming in that's maybe challenged him. We're talking about kind of Lagerbielke, we're talking about Narovsky. If one of these players would have been at the quality of kind of Starfelt or Cameron Carter-Vickers, would Liam Scales got that chance? Probably not. But all credit where credit's due to Liam Scales. He has done kind of fantastically well for where he's come from, for where he was at Aberdeen. But for me, I still place Carol Starfelt higher regard than Liam Scales. When you look, was it when Starfelt and Carter Vickers played together in the league, they never lost a game or something? I'm sure that was when they played together, when they started together. They'd never lost a game, so that's quite a strong statistic. And Carol Starfelt never done anything really fancy. He wasn't the best player going forward, shall we say? But he was very, very strong defending. If you needed somebody to kind of win a ball or win a header, he was probably the guy that you'd be looking at that you would kind of put your house on, him winning that ball. So I still appreciate where Liam Scales has came from. I think he's done very, very well, and we just need to see how he gets on. But as you say, it's only against Dortmund. Obviously, it's against Dortmund, so it's a very, very high calibre of team that the defenders are playing. But both Trusty and Scales were massively found out, along with probably all in the back line that night. So I think coming up against Atalanta, we need a more assured performance from our defence, and especially our centre halves. We're hoping that Cameron Carter-Vickers is back into the fold.
I get what JP's saying here. Starfelt lost a Rangers team. Obviously, I think that was the game where Ange obviously changed the team a bit as well, and it was one of the. I'm sure it was one of the. Obviously, it was at the start of the. It was the start or the end. Ange, the team wasn't really when he moved the team about, and then to start when obviously we were getting into gear. Never get back Champions League man of the matches, and he hasn't up till now. Obviously, lost against Rangers games. I get what you're saying, JP. But overall, for me, I'm on with Alan in terms of overall as a defender. Starfelt was a better as so far was in my opinion is been better than Liam Scales. But listen, if Liam Scales continues the way he's going this year and we win a league or a double or a treble, then you would probably say, listen, he's come in and he's done better. So, listen, it's all about opinions, Alan. We all see games differently and we all want different things off certain players. But kind of last few bit of this morning, mate, obviously overall, looking into the next few games, mate, like you said, we've got Atlanta and then we've got obviously Aberdeen on Saturday as well. What's your take on the next few games and how do you think especially the Atlanta game, Alan? Obviously, you need to beat Aberdeen first, but what's your thoughts on kind of the next week ahead or so?
It's a very, very pivotal part of our season. Massively important. You're looking at people speaking about in the media are Aberdeen kind of title contenders. I don't think so for me. They've done fantastically well, but this is the point where Celtic need to kind of rubber stamp that and make sure that we come out of this game with maximum points. Because I know that we've got a far superior side to Aberdeen, but confidence is a massive thing in football. And if Aberdeen could manage to kind of get anything from us or turn us over, then people would start kind of turning their head and saying, well, wait a minute here. So I think this is where we need to make sure we put our foot down and show our dominance with especially this Aberdeen game. The game during the week against Atalanta, I think we all know as fans that this is going to be a similar level of game that we had against Borussia Dortmund. We're going to need to approach it in a different manner. I hope the manager approaches it in a different manner, because if we go toe to toe again, I think it might be another scary night, which I think is completely unacceptable. We need to kind of realise that these teams maybe have a better calibre of player than us and approach the game in a completely different way. Then you're looking at the semi-final as well. So when you're looking at these next three games, it's massively pivotal, and it could dictate where the season goes for here. So it's huge. I'm looking forward to it because the bigger games, it's always that added excitement. But this is a kind of could be season defining the next kind of few weeks.
It's going to be interesting. Obviously, the big games are obviously exciting. Champions League game, it's always good. I think obviously beating Aberdeen first, hopefully, get a good result, back momentum in the game against Atlanta. But then you'll need to kind of change your mindset in terms of the way he plays. We're obviously hoping that he'll go and change the formation or change the tactics or change the mindset of the tactics. I think we'll need to. I think if we go the same way against Dortmund, then we'll be in for a tough night. Listen, we can still go and get a result, but I think we're on agreement, Mace, as a fan base, that you can still stick to your philosophy and stick to your principles, but you still need to change it and tweak it. I think that's the biggest thing. But I'll be exciting next few weeks. Obviously, a lot of games. It's good to have Celtic back in terms of games, and it's just really just good to look forward to Celtic back. Obviously, if you have been tuning into the podcast recently, and you do know that we have got an event on Saturday, we are hosting an event with Joe Miller in the Morven Bar, the Morven Lounge. If you do want to get your ticket, please contact us, or you can contact us on this here. It's ryanclifford9@aol.co.uk. That is a PayPal. It is £10 per ticket. They are limited now, as Saturday coming up. It will be starting round about 8 p.m. And once it starts, that will be kind of doors closed, as we'll need to get started with Joe. The bar is also only cash only. If anybody is attending, it is only cash only. So just remember some readies for for your pints or your juice or anything else. We will be having a photo with Joe. As fans, you can get a photo with Joe. It will include a DJ, and it will obviously include raffles as well, some prizes, and a Celtic night. So please get along and enjoy our Celtic night with Joe Miller, and obviously Alan, we're looking forward to it as well, mate.
Oh, definitely. Aye, 7 to 12. So I think by the time maybe 7:45 comes, the doors will be getting dubbed up because obviously the show will be kicking off at 8. So looking forward to it. It should be a good night, and it's always nice to speak to an ex-Celtic player and hear some of the stories that they've got to say. So yeah, really looking forward to it. Should be a fantastic night. And if any of you guys that are listening, if you are coming along, don't forget to say hi. I'm looking forward to meeting you guys.
Yeah, that again, that's the PayPal there. That is £10 a ticket if you do want to buy a wee ticket from the PayPal. Just enter that and send it along. Or also, if you do want to go to the Morven Lounge, you can pop up there, hand in your name, and lovely ladies behind the bar will help you with that. Or if you can't deal with the pub or PayPal, if technology is not your thing, just contact us on any social media platform or the community page on YouTube, and myself, Alan or JP, will help you on your way on that. But yeah, Alan, it's been good to chat to you again today, mate. Obviously, early morning one for us this morning, but obviously Celtic are back, mate, on Saturday, so I look forward to that. But until then, stay safe and hail, hail.
Hail, hail.